Hello and welcome to Nice and Blunt. My name is Adam Riancho, and it's time for another live stream. We are going to do another draft today on Underdog. Let's get to it. All right, here we are. The tournament we are hopping into today is Best Ball Mania 5. Nice to see you, Bobby Digital. Welcome to the chat. And in terms of the format of this tournament, we did it yesterday. I like the team a lot. I drafted yesterday a onslaught of the Dallas Cowboys with a quintuple stack if you count Rico Dowdle. And yeah, that was really interesting. I like that one a lot. This is a tournament with a ton of spots open still. 77% full. That's about 150,000 entries that are still untaken. So there's still time. If you want to join, you can do it with me. You can do it without me, whatever your preference is. But a reminder of the rules. You got to finish top 2 in the 12-team league you draft in. Then you enter a 13-team pod in week 15. You got to finish first. Then a 16-team pod. You got to finish first again. And then you enter a 539-seat final where if you win first place, you take home $1.5 million. It's half PPR, 18 rounds. You got to start 3 wide receivers. I think that's it for the rules. If you want to join, I'm on a 5-6 second delay, so hit that button right now, and I'll be hitting it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Vámonos. Oh, my location was not set up, so I did not get in. That's the thing about this website. You got to be in the right state. It's not available everywhere, and I might have to do this on my phone. Yeah, we'll just do it on the phone. One moment. One moment. We'll get started very shortly. Promise you that. Drafts. What's going on? My phone's taking a while to load. It says there's none available. That's weird. There's no drafts available. That's wrong. Here we go. Best Ball Mania 5. I hit the button. I hit the button right now. And I've got 5 more spots left in that lobby. No, not that one. Here we go. One more spot. Okay. Got it up and running. Took a little while, but we're good. We're all set. The lobby's full. We'll be drafting soon. What pick do we get? Pick 5. I'm happy with pick 5. Very comfortable with the 5th pick. So it'll be a different team. We won't be a CeeDee Lamb out the gate. And we'll see who falls to us at 5. If not, we'll go with probably Justin Jefferson. Most likely JJ. But Bobby Digital asking Bijan or Chase, 3 wide receiver, best ball, full PPR. I think I'm still going to go with Jamar Chase. When you have to start 3 wide receivers, I think receivers a little more valuable, and then running backs will always be pushed down. Underdog is a proof of that. Running back values are always really good. And Bijan is not one of my favorite picks in the first round, in all honesty. I'd rather go with Breece Hall over Bijan, but I'd still rather go with Jamar Chase. There are going to be some weeks where he gets like 13 targets. He's locked in for a ton of volume. And although he hasn't signed his contract yet, I'm not worried he misses any time. I think he'll be fine in Cincinnati. But pants down Hollywood Brown. Changing it up this time. Usually go pants down John Brown. Mixing it up. Okay. Christian McCaffrey, CeeDee Lamb. That's what we expect. Nothing new with Tyreek Hill at 3. And Amon-Ra, pick 4. That means Jamar Chase is available. Let's go with Jamar Chase. Let's set ourselves up for a Joe Burrow stack, that would be nice. I'll take Jamar. In best ball, I think Jamar has tremendous upside. He can give you 50 points in any given week. He'll be a little more volatile than Amon-Ra. So for consistency reasons, I understand taking St. Brown. I actually have St. Brown ranked higher in redraft, but in best ball, I do prefer Jamar Chase. I think Jamar Chase has more upside potential than St. Brown. I feel like St. Brown is going to be capped at like 12 touchdowns. Last year he scored 10, and that kind of feels like a best case scenario in that Detroit offense that really spreads it around. Chase could be the number one wide receiver on the year. It feels like that's going to happen for him at some point in time. I'd probably bet on it happening after T. Higgins leaves, but T. Higgins also draws away a lot of defense away from Jamar Chase, at least attention. But the targets are going to go up once T. Higgins is gone. That feels like a safer bet to happen next year rather than this year. But it's definitely possible with a quarterback like Joe Burrow and their elite connection that dates back to college. But happy to get him at number 5. Then we see Justin Jefferson, Bijan, Breece Hall, A.J. Brown, Garrett Wilson, Puka Nacua, Marvin Harrison, Cooper Kupp at pick 13. That's the first, eye-opening pick. That's the kind of a shocker. High investment on Kupp. There's no way that Team 12 is going to get him otherwise. It's been a very long time since Kupp has gone in the late third. So from a unique standpoint, it is a factor, but there's probably some teams in early May that got Marvin and Kupp in the third. I do think there are some teams like that. So probably not the only team, but first one like that in a while. They are more rare these days. But I'd love Jonathan Taylor here. If he falls one more pick, we'll see what happens with Team 6. I doubt it. But I'd be very happy with Taylor at pick 20. They go Malik Neighbors. Wow. I will happily take Jonathan Taylor at pick 20. So 5 pick drop in ADP plus the 1 pick drop for Jamar. Not the most common combination. Jamar Chase and Jonathan Taylor. I have seen it happen. I'm not going to pretend like I'm the only one with this combo, but it is more unique. That is for sure. Bobby Digital saying, I just really think Bijan is going to have a legacy season like Saquon's rookie year. It's possible. I'm not going to sit here and say Bijan isn't super talented, but personally I prefer Breece Hall. I've at least seen Breece play at a truly elite level. As someone who had both Bijan and Breece on different fantasy teams last year, I was a lot more comfortable with Breece at the end of the season than I was with Bijan. If you had Bijan in the playoffs and you didn't have a bye in week 15, then you lost. You were eliminated because Bijan literally put up a bagel in week 15 of the fantasy playoffs last year. So Bijan, I think there's just more assumptions with him working out. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers could get hurt again, and any investment in Breece could be fatal. But you've seen me do it yesterday, and I'm just going to keep drafting Brandon Ayuk as he falls, especially in Best Ball Mania. This is the cheaper price you're getting on Ayuk. So you can make the argument it's wise to draft early in the offseason on Best Ball Mania. The tournament starts in May and goes all the way to early September, but this is an example of a reason why you should be drafting later on, because you can get a guy like Ayuk at a drop in ADP. Maybe it's justified. Maybe he's a stealer and it doesn't work out, but I think he's going to stay in San Francisco, and I think he's going to be even better than he was last year, where he put up 1,300 yards on only 105 targets. So if I'm wrong, I will pay the price, but at the moment, I love this start. Jamar Chase, Jonathan Taylor, Brandon Ayuk, phenomenal in my opinion. And I think I might pass on tight end with the hope that maybe George Kittle can be there for me at 68. That'd be a elite stack of Ayuk and Kittle. And we'll see what happens in the next 2 rounds but I might pass on running back and just load up on receiver. If T. Higgins is there at 44, I will happily go T. Higgins and set up a Jamar Chase T. Higgins double stack with Burrow later on. Bobby Digital, fast forward to January 2025, BBM leaderboard, final finishers. Adam Rancho first. Number 2, Bobby Digital. If that happens, bud, we have to grab a drink and meet up. I agree. I would happily meet up with you, man, if we finished 1 and 2 in Best Ball Mania 5. I'd be fucking ecstatic about it. Hell yeah. And who knows, maybe this could be the start you need to get that done. I'm very happy with this Jamar Chase Taylor Ayuk combo. Loving it. After Ayuk, we see Metcalf, Tank Dell, DJ Moore, Isaiah Pacheco, Michael Pittman, Stephon Diggs, ETN moving up the board, Zay Flowers, Josh Allen, Rashee Rice, Sam Laporta. Rashee moving up the board as well. Okay. But we've got 3 picks before ours, and if things stick with ADP, we will be lined up for T. Higgins. We'll see what happens here. Andis here at 42 might snipe me, but I don't think this team, it's Feach, snipes me given they have 3 receivers. They don't. I'm going to take T. Higgins here, and we are locked in for that Joe Burrow stack. Let's go. We're maximizing upside. You need stacks, especially in this tournament when it's very difficult to advance. Like, finishing top 2 out of 12 is already somewhat difficult. Like, your odds are only 16%. It's not like you're automatically going to advance. But once you do, the odds get even slimmer each week after that. So you need those minute advantages. And the story we're telling with this team is that Joe Burrow is going to go off in the fantasy playoffs. Not only that, in the regular season, but that is the stack that you really need, this Jamar Chase T. Higgins combination. We're going to need to get Burrow, though, for it to really come to fruition. That's kind of critical. I'm tempted to take him at 77 in the 7th round, but I'm probably going to pass on him and grab him at 92 because the odds that somebody else grabs him above ADP when they don't have either Bengal are kind of slim. If people know what they're doing, unless it's out of spite and trying to ruin my roster, then more than likely we'll see Joe Burrow fall to at least the 8th round. There's a chance he falls back to pick 101. I have seen that happen quite a bit with Burrow, where he falls into the hundreds, but I'm probably just going to take him at 92. So with that in mind, I can consider Kincaid here. There is falling value on Mahomes and Lamar, but we know we're trying to get Burrow, and I'm going to leave Lamar on the board. I'm going to take Kincaid. I know I mentioned the George Kittle stack, but I really don't like the other picks in this round. There's nobody else that I feel really safe with other than the quarterbacks, and I'm locked into taking Burrow. So I'm going to go with Kincaid, grab an elite tight end. I do have Kincaid ranked above George Kittle. Kincaid is my tight end 3. Kittle is my tight end 6 this season. So other than the stack, it's not like critical. And I could still possibly go with Kittle at 68 if I really wanted to. I probably won't, because grabbing 2 bully tight ends is not like my ideal strategy. But given who else is here in the 5th round, I think Kincaid is one of the better selections. So if it was Jacobs available, I would take Josh Jacobs, but Jacobs went 43. That is my logic with going Kincaid. I already have a double stack setup with Jamar and T. Higgins, I'll avoid the necessity to have that double stack with Kittle. Like, once Kincaid comes off the board, once these top 5 come off the board, if you're not getting Kittle, you're kind of like forced into going with Ferguson or Ingram to really compete. Otherwise, you're really like kind of hoping that Njoku lives up to what he did with Flacco, and he did not do anything close to that with Deshaun last season. So it's a lot riskier. I'm not a big fan of Pitt's value this year, and he would need to fall to us. I could have gone Richardson there because I have Taylor, but if Taylor really produces elite numbers, it's because Richardson is not vulturing him on the goal line like crazy. So I'm comfortable passing on Richardson, especially knowing I need Joe Burrow on this roster. So this is the team so far. Taylor at running back, Kincaid at tight end, receivers Jamar Chase, Brandon Ayuk, and T. Higgins. Feel good. I like it so far. I hope so. Let's see where it goes. Let's see how it works out. But thanks for the compliment. After Kincaid, Lamar goes 54. It's a really good price on Lamar. Like team 6, I hate the neighbors pick, but otherwise I think team 6 is actually doing pretty well. They sniped team 7 on the Andrews Lamar stack. I'm sure team 7 was pissed. But they go Jaden Reed, followed by James Cook, Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen in the 5th. Yikes. Not a great pick in my opinion. But Richardson, 58. Ridley, Kyle Pitts at the turn with Joe Mixon. Chris Godwin, 62. And Rashad White, 63. Christian Watson goes 64. Now Rome comes off at 65. I would have loved to take Rome here, but we do not get him. And I might go with Kenneth Walker. Could go with running back, although maybe not. Who knows? Maybe I go with Kittle here, because Kittle has that like truly elite upside. Would be done at tight end. It's tempting. Not gonna lie. But no, I get sniped on Kittle, which means I'm going to take my favorite running back. I am going to go Kenneth Walker here. That way, I'll still probably get a solid receiver coming back around. I think I can. I think I'll be okay. Walker's been really getting good reports out of camp lately. The coaching staff loves him, and they've been talking about him as a 3-down player, being a lot more involved in the passing game. And, he's already the goal line back in Seattle. So I don't like the offensive line, but his talent is really good. And if Charbonnet is really a non-factor, whether he gets injured or they just don't use him, then Kenneth Walker could be equally as valuable as Jonathan Taylor. We've seen those stats that you've heard me mention it on the channel before. If you look at Walker's numbers when he was the starter outright his rookie season, in those games, he averaged over 16 points per game and was pretty much just as good as Jonathan Taylor was last season when healthy. So there's a world where we get a top 6 or 7 running back here with Walker. I think in round 6, he's one of the better picks, at least at running back. I prefer him over Rashad. I prefer him over Joe Mixon. I think he's equally as valuable as James Cook. And now I'm really happy I passed on James Cook for Dalton Kincaid at 53. So running back is solid. We're in line to probably still only need to draft 5. When we have 2 inside my top 15, I can probably move off the position for a while. But receiver is my target here for sure. I could reach on Burrow, but I'm going to hope and pray he comes back around. And I got a really good price on Deontay Johnson. So let's take Deontay here at 77. 9 picks past ADP. If he can put up an Adam Thielen type of season, we are going to smash with that pick. Definitely a unique approach. Kenneth Walker, Deontay Johnson haven't been paired together for a while now in ADP, so let's go Deontay. Could have definitely taken Ladd there. I am a fan of Ladd McConkey. Also Keon Coleman to pair up with Dalton Kincaid. There's a recent turf toe injury for Curtis Samuel, so Keon's really interesting. But with a drop in in ADP on Deontay, I'll take him here. And let's just hope that Bryce Young looks better this year. Let's hope that Dave Canales revitalizes him. And Canales has been a bit of a quarterback whisperer, always has good wide receiver one production in his offenses. They traded for Deontay, and hopefully this works out. I think from a floor standpoint, Deontay is going to be very safe this season. And you also know that the Panthers' offense is going to be trailing. There will be a lot of like good game script for them to pass the ball a lot next season. And I mean, we saw Adam Thielen put up like monster numbers in the beginning, first half of last year, and he inevitably looked like shit because he's old and it's the Panthers. But only until his coach got fired did Adam Thielen like drop off, and then it was like a lot more spread out in the second half. But if Deontay's the guy, we could see like 1,200 yards for Deontay this season. There's been years where Deontay Johnson sees 160 targets. Deontay has been funneled volume for the last like 4 years. 3 seasons with at least 144 targets. In 2021, he had 169 targets. So there's a world he's a fucking smash. And I'd much rather take him than Jamison Williams or Hollywood Brown. And yeah, happy with that pick. Feels very safe in round 7. That's for sure. But I'm 2 picks away from Joe Burrow, and these 2 teams already have quarterbacks, so I think it's going to work out. Team 3 doesn't have quarterback. Otherwise, everybody else does. I'm really tempted to pass on Burrow, honestly, but I think it's too risky. Giving Team 3 2 shots at it when he's the highest ranked guy. Like, I really need Burrow on this team for it to work out. So I'm not going to press my luck. I'm just going to play it safe. I'm going to trust that I can make a good pick in the next round. And maybe we can get Chase Brown with our next selection. Let's go Joe Burrow here and just guarantee we have the Jamar Chase T. Higgins double stack. And wow, I feel really good about this team. There's a world where Burrow is a top 3 quarterback next season. So I think he's going at a massive discount, great value, and at pick 92, it's critical for this roster. So I'm feeling really good about this team. We're not even halfway done with the draft, though. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I think through the first 8 rounds, it's gone as good as it can get. I mean, hard to top it. Abraham asking me, what do I think of Wicks this season? I think in best ball, Wicks is an excellent pick. I think you want a piece of the Packers offense, and he's going as the cheapest receiver in that wide receiver core. And the way that Matt LaFleur talks about all 4, he kind of views them all the same. He doesn't really single anyone out as like the clear guy. And Wicks looked really good in the preseason. He had that like 65-yard touchdown on like the only drive that Jordan Love played that first game. And he looked really good last season. I think he can take a big leap. It's just a question of what will the rotation look like between these, 4 receivers. There's only so many snaps to go around. I'm not going to expect that many like 4 wide receiver sets, for the Packers. There's going to be only 3 on the field at one time, most likely. So it's a question of like, is one guy relegated to the bench quite often, or are they really just rotating all 4 equally? That's a big thing. But, oh, wow. Jonathan Brooks has fallen a little bit. And while I am tempted to go with Chase Brown here, I really am. Brooks has that like elite potential, especially in this tournament. I'm also considering Khalil Shakir, Romeo Doubs. But the reason I'm not going to take Chase Brown and I'm going to go with Jonathan Brooks is because Chase Brown in this tournament has been going at a much cheaper price there are plenty of teams in Best Ball Mania that got Chase Brown after pick 125. So that's a full 2 rounds later than where I would be taking him right here. And although he does stack up, I'm still of the belief that Zach Moss is not going away, and Zach Moss could be more valuable than Chase Brown. So for me to pay the premium on Chase Brown when I already have 2 players stacked with Burrow, I think is a little counterproductive when I'm getting a discount on Jonathan Brooks, who really is more valuable in this tournament, specifically because of the late season payout structure. So knowing that there's teams in May, June, and even July that were drafting Chase Brown closer to pick 130 as opposed to 101, whereas Jonathan Brooks often was going at the 7-8 turn earlier this offseason. I already got him past ADP. This is one of the cheaper prices on Brooks. I will take Jonathan Brooks instead of Chase Brown. I think Brooks has more upside for sure. When Brooks is healthy, I don't think he'll be in a committee once he's 100% on the field. So that's my logic there. Could have definitely gone with Romeo Doubs. Getting another receiver is not something I would regret. But we took Doubs in the last draft yesterday, and I also feel really good about the receiving core I already have. I'm going to take Brooks, and now, like, for sure I'm locked into only 5 running backs. That is a guarantee. But Shakir was very interesting as well, because Curtis Samuel, like I mentioned earlier, is dealing with a turf toe injury, and that's going to open the door early on in the year for Khalil Shakir. Abraham, do I think I can rate my team if that's okay? It's a standard full PPR ESPN 12-man league. Yeah, of course. Go ahead and send over that roster. Let me know. But Jonathan asking, how many drafts have I done? In Best Ball Mania, this is only my 10th entry. I've only done 10 Best Ball Mania teams. Overall, though, since the draft, I've done like 220. I've done 220 on Underdog. Most of them are much cheaper. There aren't that many drafts for more than $10 over there. But yeah, I've done over 200. I also did like 75 before the draft, so I'm approaching 300 since like January. Yeah. Since the Super Bowl, I've done about 300 total. Albie saying nice team so far. Pick 5 is paying off for me so far. I like this draft quite a bit. But Abraham, I'll get to your team after I make my pick. And very tempting to go with Brock Purdy, but I think receiver is about to fall off a massive cliff. And this worked out. I passed on Romeo Doubs. I'm getting Dontavian Wicks instead. And if you rewind just a couple minutes ago, I was talking about how Dontavian Wicks is very valuable, especially in best ball here. Never have to decide when I'm starting him. Really high upside. And a few picks past ADP. I don't really understand why the team with Jordan Love passed on him for Zach Moss. The team with Jordan Love has Jaden Reed. They do have 5 receivers already, but I guess it's because they only have 1 running back in Bijan that they take Moss instead. But I could have gone Purdy there for sure. There's a world where Purdy comes back around to me, and with Ayuk, that would be a good stack. But I know for a fact I cannot replicate receiver moving forward. Like it's kind of hard to find really good receiver values, especially with the upside of Wicks in the later rounds. Whereas there's a world I get Purdy here, and even if I don't, I have Burrow. I can replicate some production with other quarterbacks later on. But if Purdy is there at 125, I will take Purdy. If not, I'll probably be looking at Jerome Ford for some early season complement to Jonathan Brooks. I think it's between Purdy and Ford. I would prefer Purdy because of the Ayuk selection. Dowdle off the board. Dowdle would have been a backup plan. Blake Corum off the board. So we're getting one of these 2 guys for sure. They go Jared Goff. I'm going to take Purdy at 13 picks past ADP. Let's do it. I also have like 2 really good running backs above Brooks, so it's not essential for me to take Ford. And Ford was also going cheaper earlier in this tournament. So this is one of the cheaper prices on Purdy. I'm getting some really good values here. And now I'm done at quarterback. That's also a very valuable thing to have locked up. My 2 quarterbacks, Joe Burrow double stacked with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Brock Purdy stacked up with Brandon Ayuk. Let's hope Ayuk stays in San Francisco. Let's hope so. But I'll get to your team now, Abraham. You have Purdy, James Cook, Kyron, Justin Jefferson, Drake London, Kittle, K9, and on the bench you have Ridley, Lockett, Hubbard, Hollywood, and Goddard. So that was a full PPR 12-team league. So with Purdy and no backup quarterback, I think that's perfectly fine. Purdy is very safe. James Cook, Kyron Williams, Kenneth Walker, Chuba Hubbard as the running backs. Pretty solid. I think maybe having a 5th running back is something you'll probably want to invest in off the waiver wire soon. But you have good options. So maybe once like Hubbard loses value, once Brooks is back on the field, you'll probably need a little bit extra depth at RB. But to start off the year, I think that's really good. You can always get good running backs off the waiver wire over the course of the season. And at receiver, you have Justin Jefferson. That's always fucking awesome. Drake London, as well as Ridley, Lockett, Hollywood. Lockett, I think, is kind of the weak point of this draft. Probably like the least valuable guy, but Lockett's still a decent floor play every week. Like Lockett's still probably solid. I'm a little worried about his leg injury, but it appears not to be a big issue. They're not too worried about it. So receiving core is good with Jefferson and Drake London. That's really nice. And then Ridley, I could be too low on Ridley. I'm not like a huge Ridley guy, but there's a world where he really pays off, especially with Hopkins already hurt. I just don't really love Will Levis. That's my opinion. But then Hollywood, once he's healthy, should be decent. I would say Lockett and Hollywood is a little bit dicey. You have Kittle and Goddard at tight end. So tight end is very secure. I would consider packaging Goddard and maybe Hollywood in a trade and getting some better depth, but like wait until somebody's really desperate at tight end. Like I don't think you have to make any moves, but I think overall in full PPR that's a pretty solid team, man. In 12 team format, I like the roster. I think you're really loaded at the top. Like Kenneth Walker as your flex play, that's really dope. I love that. So, great team, man. I think I'd rather have a backup quarterback than tight end personally, but I still think Goddard's really valuable, especially in a trade package. Goddard's going to be good. Holy shit. I wasn't even looking at the board while I was talking, and this team already has four running backs. I might be getting Jerome Ford here. Holy shit. I wanted Jerome Ford with the last round pick. Oh my God. Hell yeah. Jerome Ford lines up so well with the Jonathan Brooks pick as well. Like, for a fact Nick Chubb is not going to be the same player. Nick Chubb goes 126. I kind of lucked out. I don't want to shit on him too much, but I think the team at 6 doesn't really know what they're doing. I think the team at 6 has made some good picks, but also some weird picks that I would not be making at all. And they passed on Wicks to pair up with Jordan Love. Oh, no, that was a different team. Never mind. But they passed on Jerome Ford for Michael Wilson. They took Nick Chubb at 126. Like, holy shit. Like, I'm over the moon to grab Jerome Ford at pick 140. That's like a good price even like 2 months ago, let alone for this late in the season. Holy shit. And he wasn't the only one that passed on Ford. Wow. Holy shit. Team 8 goes Jalen Wright over Jerome Ford. Ty Chandler over Jerome Ford. What am I missing? Did he just like tear his ACL this morning or something? Like, I hope not. But like, why is he so discounted here? It doesn't make sense to me. Holy shit. But Jonathan wants me to make sure I grab J.K. Dobbins. I'm tempted to do it I'll be honest with you, very tempted, but I'm getting a little bit behind at receiver. I've got good receivers. I have 5 I feel safe with, but like um if I go running back here, it'll be the last one I draft. But I could definitely do that. McMillan 146. What is going on? McMillan has an ADP of 173. This is interesting. This is weird. But I'm not going to go Cole Kmet. I would have considered Pearsall there because I have Purdy, but I'm not in love with receiver. And you know what? I'm just going to follow your advice, Jonathan. I'm going to take J.K. Dobbins. We're going to swing for the fence. We got good running backs as well. I think I can really afford this selection. And if Dobbins works out, he could be a true league winner at this price. So let's go J.K. Dobbins, and now we're done at running back. We're done at quarterback. We're strictly wide receiver, tight end the rest of the way. And I think I can set myself up for 9 receivers on this team. If I get a good backup tight end, we can't go Conklin because of the week 12 bye situation. I also can't really go Gesicki for the same reason. I could take Gesicki because of the Burrow stack, but wow, this team is dope. Joe Burrow double stacked with Jamar and T. Higgins. Brock Purdy stacked up with Brandon Ayuk. Running back, Jonathan Taylor, Kenneth Walker, Jonathan Brooks at a value, Jerome Ford at a great value, and then J.K. Dobbins, 4 picks past ADP. He was going cheaper earlier in this tournament, though. But Jonathan Taylor also 5 picks past ADP. Walker 5 picks past ADP. Like everyone past ADP. This running back room is really good in my opinion. And then receiver, while I only have 5, I think I have really good options. Jamar, Brandon Ayuk, T. Higgins, Deontay Johnson, Deontavian Wicks. And then the tight end is Dalton Kincaid. Like, we've drafted 13 rounds. We got 5 picks left, and I love this team. I'm really happy with this team right now. But Abraham says I was getting offered Sutton and Corum for Ridley and Rodgers. Who is my backup quarterback? What do you think based off my roster? Well, I mentioned I would like to have a good 5th running back. So I think Corum is a very valuable piece. The difference is this is full PPR, and having Ridley is definitely a lot better than having Sutton. So Rodgers as your backup quarterback, not someone I really want in all honesty. I think it's a fair trade. I think for the sake of like running back depth, having Corum would be really safe for your team. Sutton is going to be on the bench. Ridley's already on your bench, so you don't really need him that much. What I would do is I would counter and offer Goddard and Rodgers for Corum and Sutton. That might be asking too much, but let me get back to you in just one second. Kirk Cousins fell in this draft. Wow. Okay. I'm going to take Noah Fant. Going to take Fant for the sake of the bye week. I prefer Conklin, but I have him in the same tier. And now with Kincaid and Fant, if I don't want to take a 3rd tight end, I don't have to. And now I'm just like all wide receiver the rest of the way. Could have definitely gone with wide receiver there instead, but I feel like one of these 3 is going to fall back around to me. This is a weird room. Like Vidal goes 167. This is a weird draft. And I'm just going to take who I think is the most valuable tight end left on the board. We got 4 picks left. 3 of them are receivers. 1 of them might be a 3rd tight end. We'll see. We'll see. But I'm locked into receiver right now. Wandale is falling, but I'm not big on Wandale and the Giants. I think I'm going to pass on Wandale. Tolbert has been flying up the board. It's between Tolbert and Demarcus Robinson. This feels weird, but I'm actually going to go Jalen Tolbert. Let's make a bet against Brandon Cooks. Jalen Tolbert's the only Cowboys receiver I did not draft in yesterday's Cowboys heavy stack. And Cooks is about to turn 32. No, he turns 31. Excuse me. He turns 31 in September. And he does look like he's fading. He's probably going to fade. So, yeah, it's one of the higher prices on Tolbert in this tournament. Like a few weeks ago, Tolbert was going undrafted. But despite rapidly rising, he's still kind of one of the lesser rostered players overall in Best Ball Mania. And I am of the opinion that you want more unique approaches in these last 4 rounds, and grabbing someone that's like usually more undrafted at the end is fine. And also like round 15 is past pick 170. I think you can like reach a little bit. And it really doesn't make that big of a difference. Like all these players going close to pick 200 are all dart throws with very little upside anyways. Like we're talking about wide receiver 74 off the board. Are they really going to be that good? Like odds are no. But if Ferguson doesn't score a shit ton of touchdowns, if Cooks gets injured, Tolbert would be the next man up. And there is a world where he does really offer some value. I was very tempted to go Demarcus Robinson, but I have a shit ton of Demarcus Robinson already. So I don't think I need Demarcus again. I would have considered Marvin Mims there, but he goes to the team with Bo Nix at 180. Albie says Conklin alert. I could have gone Conklin there for sure, but I mentioned a little bit earlier that Week 12 bye paired up with Kincaid's Week 12 bye is what I'm trying to avoid, because now I can call it done at 2 tight ends if I really want to with Fant and Kincaid. I would have felt compelled to grab a 3rd tight end if I took Conklin instead. I might still take a 3rd tight end, but at least now I know I'm getting some tight end production in Week 12 instead of a bagel. Abraham says Ty Chandler is on waivers in your league. Ty Chandler's a good pickup, but I think I'd probably stick with Ridley for now, but I'll be honest with you, I'm very tempted to grab the Corum handcuff with Kyron Williams. Like, Corum is the most valuable handcuff, so I think you could do it. I think it would be probably justified, honestly, because I don't think you need Rodgers at all. You can probably get a decent backup off of waivers that's better than Rodgers. But here I am on the clock. And I'm going to go with Yoshivas. I am a little more confident in Yoshivas over Jermaine Burton. Burton has looked good in the preseason, but he's never playing with the starters. And I'm going to go Yoshivas. There's a world where Burton also falls back around to me. But we grab another receiver to pair with Joe Burrow. We have Jamar, we have T. Higgins, we have Yoshivas. And also, Yoshivas is less rostered overall in Best Ball Mania. So many teams were taking Burton at a much higher price. Like, Burton was going in the 140s not too long ago. Yoshivas only recently has moved up to being drafted. Tim Patrick, 191. That's kind of interesting. You saw me take Tim Patrick at 215 yesterday. At least I had Bo Nix on that team. But yeah, Wandale is dropping like a stone. I get it. I don't want to invest in the Giants at all. But I'm really tempted to go with Burton as well. But I think it's overkill. I don't think I need 4 Bengals receivers. Like, if I was going to take another Bengal, I think it would be Mike Gesicki, not Burton. So we're just going to bet against Burton. We could go Wandale for the sake of uniqueness, but I don't think I will. What's the news on DJ Chark? I think I'm going to go DJ Chark for some spike week appeal. Justin Herbert is out of the walking boot. And if he stays healthy, I'm going to go with DJ Chark here. I think he's more valuable than Quentin Johnston. And I think Quentin Johnston was drafted in this, 165. So Chark has that spike week potential. I'll go DJ Chark. And now this last pick is between Gesicki, but it might be overkill, really. Like, so many Bengals. We could also go Dawson Knox, someone that's not really rostered a ton, as like a Kincaid insurance policy, but maybe not critical. I've got Jamar Chase, Brandon Ayuk, T. Higgins, Deontay Johnson, Dontavian Wicks, Jalen Tolbert, Andre Yoshivas, and DJ Chark at receiver. Do I need a ninth? Maybe I take a ninth. Tight end is Dalton Kincaid and Noah Fant. Running back is Taylor, Kenneth Walker, Jonathan Brooks, Jerome Ford, and J.K. Dobbins. Quarterback Joe Burrow, Brock Purdy. You know, maybe I go with Jacob Coing. Coing has looked good in the preseason. Pearsall's injured. Pearsall's not getting many reps. And I heard Diana Rossini today report that Coing has a role in this offense. They're planning to use him. And obviously, if Ayuk doesn't work out, then Coing would step in, at least to a certain degree. What do you guys think? Do you think I should take the ninth receiver or take the third tight end? I think maybe taking someone that's going undrafted is probably a little more valuable. But having Fant as my backup tight end doesn't give me like a shit ton of confidence as well. It's a toss-up for me. It could really go either way. I think I'm going to go with Coing, though. I think given how I ignored receiver for a while, Tolbert is my sixth guy. I think having that ninth receiver could really help me out. So yeah, I'm going to do that. Stack him up with Brock Purdy, and let's hope for the best. He did look good in the preseason. And if Debo gets hurt, there's a world where it works out where even Ayuk can stay on the Niners and we get good production out of both. Let's go with Jacob Coing. Fuck it. Let's do it. Someone that usually goes undrafted and makes this team more unique. So, wow, this team is very interesting. I like it a lot. I will recap it in just a moment, but there are some questions here. Abraham saying, I feel like after Jefferson, Drake London are my only good receivers because after it's Hollywood, Lock, and Ridley. If I was to trade Ridley, I would get Sutton in return. Yeah. I think it would, yeah, you'd be losing some good value at receiver. I don't trust Sutton at all this year, honestly. I don't really want Sutton. But I really also like the idea of the Corum handcuff. So if you could get rid of Goddard instead of Ridley, I would try to do it. I don't think you need Rodgers, but I think I'd rather hold on to Ridley. Given it's a full PPR league, I think that's probably a better piece to have. Because Sutton is not going to see much volume. Sutton is purely like touchdown dependent. So my recommendation is hold on to Ridley and see if you can get a better deal later on. But let's remind you of the team. Here it is. Joe Burrow at quarterback with Brock Purdy. Running back, Jonathan Taylor, Kenneth Walker, Jonathan Brooks, Jerome Ford, J.K. Dobbins, all at an ADP discount. Wide receiver, Jamar Chase, Brandon Ayuk, T. Higgins, Jamar and T. Higgins, along with Yoshivas, stacked up with Burrow. Ayuk, along with Jacob Cohen, stacked up with Purdy. Deontay Johnson at a 9-pick value. Dontavian Wicks, 3 picks past ADP. Tolbert, followed by Yoshivas, DJ Chark, and Jacob Cohen to round out this wide receiver room. We have 9, and if we do get some duds from one of these like combo team, like, you know, there might be a week where one of Jamar and T. Higgins plays like shit and we need someone to fill in for him. Maybe we do have like the necessity for this 9th receiver. Tight end, a little shaky with Noah Fant as the backup, but with Kincaid as the number 1, I think there's true league-winning upside there, and it's why I'm comfortable enough to only have Fant as the backup. Wanted to go Tyler Conklin, but with the Week 12 bye combination, I did not. So that is the roster. And Abraham saying it was a really good team. I really like it. We got the stacks we need. In Best Ball Mania, you need stacks. And then the running back room is also really fucking loaded. I love this running back room. I got some good values in this draft. So wish me luck. That was my 10th entry into Best Ball Mania, and I feel really good about it. Let's hope for the best. But that's going to be it for this video, for this live stream. I'm going to be editing this evening. And I did post the updated running back video, my top 50. I actually ranked 73 running backs in that video. So some insights there. It's only like 33 minutes overall, not too long. And a lot of insights, some updated opinions on the running back position over there on the channel. So check that out. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Like this video so it helps me out in the algorithm. And yeah, hope you guys have a good one. And I enjoyed y'all's company. Abraham has one more question, though. Should I drop Rodgers for Ty Chandler? Wicks is also on waivers, and McLaughlin, Shaheed, and Gabe Davis. I would drop Rodgers. However, I would consider taking Wicks off of the waiver wire because the thing about Wicks is if he is really like not involved at all in week 1, you can drop him instantly. Whereas Ty Chandler is someone you're going to want to hold on to for a while. And while he is a good handcuff, I'd probably like to have him. I would consider grabbing Wicks, given it's a full PPR league. That's my position there. I think I'd rather have Wicks over Chandler. But yeah, your receiver depth is a little more critical. You have Hollywood, Lockett, and Ridley. Yeah, I think I'd pick up Wicks. I think I'd drop Rodgers and grab Wicks. That's my take. Anyways, that's it for this video. That's it for me. Hope you all enjoyed. Have a good one. Enjoy your Tuesday. Bye.